And this is the final of my 2025 NFL predictions. We have already gone over who will win Super Bowl 60 out in Santa Clara, California. You can go back on audio and video and check out those postings over the last couple of weeks. But today, as we are in cooperation with Voltage Live and my social media links are in the description below, we need to talk about who's going to win the 2025 NFL awards. And as I said, based off my predictions, which there's going to be spoiler words. If you want to go and watch those predictions or listen, pause this right now. You can already guess what some of my predictions are going to be. We're going to be going over the MVP, the offensive and defensive, not only player of the year, but the offensive defensive rookie of the year awards, the comeback player of the year award, and the coach of the year award. So we're going to start with the MVP. Now, I'm not going to be doing candidates per se. I'm just going to give you my prediction on this. My MVP for the 2025 NFL season is going to be Green Bay Packer quarterback Jordan Love. Yes, I think he leads the Packers, the number two seed in the NFC at 13-4, and I think he leads the Green Bay Packers to their first Super Bowl since 2011 when they added Aaron Rodgers. I think that Jordan Love has a bounce back year, and I think it's in large part to not only Josh Jacobs running the football, but Matthew Golden becoming that number one wide receiver, the guy they drafted out of Texas in the first round. I think he absolutely unlocks Jordan Love. I think their schedule is easy enough to where they have the majority of their games at home. I think Jordan Love had a full out of the offseason after not really being fully healthy last year, and kind of like Jalen Hurts 2 years ago when he won the Eagles the Super Bowl. I think the Green Bay Packers are sleeping on people's radar. I think they come out of nowhere. I think they have a great season. And I think because of what Jordan Love's going to be doing statistically, we know he often does not turn the football over. I think he gets back to second half of the year, Jordan Love. And I'm going with a little bit of dark horse, but J Love is my MVP. Now, we know the NFL does not like to give the same awards to different people. So, for Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Josh Allen, who I think, once again, with his passing and rushing, is going to be near 50 touchdowns. Again, I think Buffalo wins the number one seed in the AFC at 14-3, just above Kansas City at 13-4. I love Josh Allen. I love his playmaking. I think Josh Allen is an incredible football player. I think he could be in the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year award conversation every single year. I think what Saquon Barkley did last year for Philadelphia, again, I don't think this is going to be an historic year for running backs the way it was a year ago with Barkley, Jordan Love, Derrick Henry. The NFL always has a new story to tell every single season. Who knows? Maybe this year could be the year of the wide receiver. But I think the Offensive Player of the Year award generally goes to the runner-up for MVP who did not win it at the quarterback position. That's why I'll go with Josh Allen. For Defensive Player of the Year, I said it when I talked about the NFC East. I think this guy could become the best defensive lineman in football if he's not there already. That is Jalen Carter for my Philadelphia Eagles, who I think is the next Aaron Donald. I think he's unblockable. I think he's unstoppable force. I think he's only going to get better. I think he has a ruthless attitude on the football field. And I think he's going to lead one of, if not the best defense in all football. Again, I do think the Eagles are going to be the number one seed. I think they get back to the NFC Championship again this year. I think that has to do a lot with the play of Jalen Carter, who is just going to be unblockable for defenses. And when he's out there with Nolan Smith, when he's out there with Njoro, when he's out there with Jordan Davis, I think this defensive line is still really good for the Eagles. I think Jalen Carter is going to make his blueprint this year that he is the best interior defensive lineman in football. Now, for offensive and defensive rookies of the year, obviously everybody's going to go out and say Travis Hunter just because he's playing both sides. I'm going to give you guys different answers because while Travis Hunter is certainly possible, and we all acknowledge that it is, I think there is a scenario where he does not have that big of an impact on both sides of the ball. The Jaguars, like I predict, are only going to win 6 games. Maybe he gets hurt. Maybe he doesn't get the production. So I think, as I already mentioned, I think one of the surprises, and maybe the biggest surprise this entire year, is that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be a playoff team the last playoff team, the 7th seed in the AFC, the way the Denver Broncos were. And I think for that to happen, Ashton Genty is going to have a big year out of the backfield. We know Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll put an emphasis on the run game. I think Ashton Genty is going to be used the way Bijan Robinson should have been used in Atlanta. And I think Ashton Genty is, if it's not going to be Travis Hunter, is a likely offensive rookie of the year candidate winner. For defensive rookie of the year, if it's not going to be Travis Hunter, I'm going to go with the guy that was picked right after him, Abdul Carter, who I talked about it for the Giants. They do have Abdul Carter. They have Kayvon Thibodeau. They have Brian Burns. They have Dexter Lawrence. Like this Giants defensive line could win you 6, 7 games. We just do not trust Russell Wilson as the quarterback. The Giants' weapons, Brian Dable, Joe Shane, the organization. Myles Garrett won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he was on an 0-17 football team. So record does not matter. I think Abdul Carter, who's had a lot of comparisons to Michael Parsons, I think he has a big year out of the gate for the Giants, who I think are going to have potential down the line with a real coach and quarterback. I think Abdul Carter, again, if it's not Travis Hunter, who I think has a better chance to win Defensive Rookie of the Year than Offensive Rookie of the Year, if you ask me, I think Abdul Carter would be next in line. Comeback player of the year, I think this is a no-brainer. I think coming off the brutal leg injury a year ago, I think this guy is top 3, top 4 edge rusher in the league. I think he's going to have a bounce back year for a Lions team who I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were a year ago. I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. I think losing Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn is huge. There's going to be a slight regression. But this was my pick for Defensive Player of the Year last year. I think this year it's a slam dunk. As long as he stays healthy all 17 games, easily comeback player of the year, Aiden Hutchinson. Now, for coach of the year, there is a debate among the NFL fans for coach of the year, which is, do we just give it to the team with the best record, right? Sean McDermott, Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, Dan Campbell over the last few years. This year, I think, Matt LaFleur could be in that conversation with the Green Bay Packers. But I like to go with the guy who comes out of nowhere, and does not a lot with anything like Sean Payton did last year in Denver, and either gets a team to the playoff or gets a team that we weren't expecting to be very close to the playoffs. I think Pete Carroll, being out of the league for a year, coming back to the NFL, with a Raider team, the hardest division in football, a division that includes Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, for him to get Geno Smith to the playoffs, as I predict, I think he's good enough to win Coach of the Year. And I think it will be very clear the improvement the Raiders will have very easily on the season. It's ironic they played New England week 1 because I think those are the 2 most improved teams in the AFC. Pete Carroll always puts his imprint wherever he goes. Again, I didn't know if it was going to work in Las Vegas, but I'm buying into the Raiders. I think this is exactly what they needed, is a legitimate, proven head coach, a veteran quarterback. They're trying to build this thing from the ground up. I think Ashton Genty and Pete Carroll, I'm in on the Raiders, man. And I might be proven wrong, but that's okay. So to recap, my NFL awards for the 2025 NFL season are MVP, Jordan Love, Offensive Player of the Year, and I think eventual Super Bowl MVP, Josh Allen, Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen Carter, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ashton Genty, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Abdul Carter, Comeback Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson, and Coach of the Year, Pete Carroll. That concludes my 2025 NFL predictions. Again, I have Bills over Packers in the Super Bowl. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.